Hey guys, I just wanted to share a couple tips here for you with trout fishing. I want to show you a couple rigs and some other stuff. So first of all, here's one of the more simple rigs where you just as easy as having a couple split shots and we use treble hooks mostly, but you can use a small number 10, number 12 size hook, or you can use a small circle hook if you want to. The treble hooks I would recommend using those more if you're going to keep the trout. If you're going to catch and release them, I would recommend using a small bait holder hook or a small circle hook. The next rig I'm going to show you is slightly different from the first one. Replace your second split shot with a sliding weight. What you can do is take a tiny split shot like this so the sliding weight can't pass it. Set it to the depth you want. You can even slide the little split shot up or down depending on what depth you're targeting. And what it'll do is when the fish takes the bait, what it'll do is it'll swim off with it. It just has this tiny bit of weight, which they shouldn't feel as much, and they can just swim with your line, but it'll still register on the end of your rod, but the line can just slip through, and you'll see that on your rod, and your rod tip starts bouncing. Then you know you have a fish on there, and wait till it gets on, and you set the hook and catch that fish. So that's just like another method I like to use when trout fishing, and it's been pretty effective so far. I like it a lot. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how I like to rig my power bait. So what I do is take my rig here, and the hook, what I'll do is take out the amount I want of power bait. You want to use just the right amount. You don't want to use too much power bait, or the trout can just bite at it and never get your hook. And if you put too little on there, it will not float, it'll just sink to the bottom. And so what you want to do is ball up the power bait. You want to stick it on your hook right down the middle, fold it around the points and the eye of the hook. And once you get that, do as best as you can to get it around there. Okay. Same technique for circle hooks, bait holder hooks, pre-snelled hooks, whatever you're using. And so once you have that little ball of power bait, you set your weights to the right length of where you think the trout are, and you can experiment with that and move it up, down, try to find the depth where they're at. And once you find the right depth in the right area, right after you catch one, I would recommend casting right back there or as close as you can to that spot, because that means you found the spot that some trout are feeding at, and chances are you might catch a couple more out of that spot. And with this, I'm using 6-pound fluorocarbon as my main line with no leader. This is just straight tied to the hook. I wouldn't go over 4 or 6-pound mono or fluoro just for these stocked trout. But of course, if you're catching bigger trout, then you might want to go to 8-pound, 10-pound fluorocarbon, but that's only if you're catching really big trout. And yeah, that's pretty much it.